Nicole Roberts-Jones here, and we are on hiatus. We will be back on October 13th with new episodes. In the meantime, I thought I'd share with you a couple of my favorite podcasts. So listen, I'm live every Monday at 7 p.m. EST. FPPLive.live is where I do my live conversations in my group. And so these are our favorite episodes over the last few months. All right, so enjoy. I'll see you October 13th. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Faith, Purpose, Profit Live, a time that I come in and pour into you everything you need to connect your faith with purpose and profit. Whether you're starting your business or you've been in business for years, the tools I give to you every Monday night, 7 p.m. EST, are really to help you do two things: to stand in the full power of who God created you to be, and number two, to create multiple streams of income from it. So I'm super excited about tonight's conversation. But before I start, come on in, tell me name and where you're joining from. My iPad is acting crazy because I can't pull up comments, so I got to look at them here. So say hello, tell me where you're from. And as I share, good evening, Kim in NYC, and hey, Sanji, tell everybody where you're joining from. So as you're joining, and I want you to do a couple things. If anything I say resonates with you, I want you to give me some hearts. Listen, if I'm stepping on your toes, give me some fire emojis. And if anything I share gives you value, please tell me that. Please also share, because there are other people in your tribe that could benefit from this insight. All right. So with that said, let me get this party started. We started a series a few weeks ago. This is the last part of a 4-part series where I'm really walking through the elements of what I call my Brilliance framework. And it's a 4-part strategy that you need to live in alignment with your assignment and get paid for it, right? So a little review, and you can always go back and watch previous episodes on my YouTube channel, which is nrjnetwork.com. Again, that's nrjnetwork.com, my YouTube channel. So with that said, review. See, I got off track. So first, let's do a little review. So first, starting with, hey, Yolanda and Michelle. So again, this is continuation of the 4-part series. So just a little review before we get into part 4 of the Brilliance framework. So part 1, we talked about your passion. What do you absolutely love? And then part 2 was, what are you proficient in? What's your proficiency? What are you really great at? By the way, those two have to correlate for it to be your purpose. If you're passionate and you're not good at it, or you're good at it and you don't love it, it's not your purpose. Point blank, period. Then last week we talked about the 3rd step, which is, what problem do you solve? Because ultimately what you do is not about you. So that leads us to the conversation everybody wants, right? It's, how do you profit? So our conversation for tonight is, your purpose is to profit. I was going to say it backwards. Your purpose is to profit. Here's our foundational Bible verses, Jeremiah 29:11, that says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Notice he says plans to prosper you first. Now look, I looked up the definition for the word prosper. Y'all know how I do, right? Especially those of you that are here week after week. Prosper means to succeed in an enterprise or activity, especially to achieve economic success. So you've got to realize that God put you here on purpose. There are people assigned to you. That's what we talked about up until this point. And when you get in alignment with your assignment, God's gift back to you is that you profit. John 10:10 says, and Jesus said this, "I've come that you have life and have it more abundantly." So there's abundance attached to your purpose. And yes, it's abundance in money, it's abundance in health, it's abundance in relationships, it's abundance in mentality, it's abundance in every area of your life. God wants you to live abundantly. But here's the thing I know that we all get caught up on, and especially in the Black church now, a lot of Christians, I should just say Black Christians in the church, we get caught up on this whole money conversation. And I really want you to understand this, y'all, because so many people, and money is the root of all evil. Yes, it says it in the Bible, but when you focus on money, focus on profit, focus on selling and not serving, it is the root of evil. But when you do the first 3 steps I just talked about in the Brilliance framework we've been talking about over the last few weeks, God's gift back to you is to prosper you. Again, prosper means to succeed in an enterprise or activity, especially to achieve economic success. See, when you serve other people that need you, it brings money back to you. But here's the thing I also want you to get. When you make more money, you can serve more people. So it means I can hire a team to help me because I can't do it by myself. That means I can hire an assistant. I can hire some other coaches that work on my team. I can hire a whole accounting team. I can go on and all the people on my team. So when I make more money, I can do more good because I can then spread and scale and multiply my gift. Y'all get that? Now, even profit, let's talk about the word profit itself, because profit is not just about money. Listen, profit says in the dictionary, a valuable return, gain. And see, the people gain that need you, no matter what it is you do. If you're a health coach, all your clients gain from what you teach them. If you teach diversity and inclusion, all the companies that need you gain when you go in and do what you do. If you're a sales coach, I can go on. If you're a doctor, when the more people you serve, it's a gain. Do I need to keep talking or y'all getting my point? I need you to really understand this. So this is more than just making money. It's how do you really create gain in this world? So I thought for this conversation, this is a part one, we do a part two. In this conversation, I wanted to talk about the 3 ways I want you to shift how you look at profit. And really, I'm going to say shift how you look at sales. Because when you are running a business, you've got to make money. After all, if you don't make money, your business is not successful, which means you're not serving people if you're not making money. But money shouldn't be your focus. So I'm going to challenge you and give you 3 ways to shift how you look at making money, how you look at profit in your business. You ready? Right? Y'all are writing some good comments. I can't pull it up over here. I don't know why. But anyway, so with that said, number 1, sales. Now, I got this a couple years ago. I was doing this whole study. Listen, you guys, anytime I teach something, I study it because 9 times out of 10, it bumped up against me. Listen, I was uncomfortable about sales. Many of you that have heard my story, I'll tell it probably towards the end of this episode. I lived in broken in my business for years because sales just didn't feel good. You know, every time I thought of the word sales, you know what I thought of? How many times have you guys walked in a car dealership and there's a man or a woman that follows you all over the car dealership? It's like, leave me alone. I'll tell you when I need you. Or you walk in Nordstrom or any of your favorite stores and the salesperson is following you. It's like, bye, leave me alone. Stop trying to sell me. And then I hate when they pick up something that I'm not even looking for. It's like, girl, bye, go sit down somewhere. You're not helping me. I'll tell you when I need help. So that's why I think sales to me just felt so icky. Yeah, Renata said, yes, they're pushy and annoying. Yes, they really are. And that's why I think sales just felt so icky to me. So those of you that look at profit and it's icky and you don't know how to move it forward, or you are comfortable in it, I'm going to give you 3 ways to shift how you look at it. You ready? Okay, number 1, sales. Now, I did this study again. I said this a few minutes ago. And sales really means the transfer of enthusiasm. To sell is the transfer of enthusiasm. Listen, the word enthusiasm is Greek origin. It means inspiration. So when you're selling something, you're transferring your enthusiasm of how you can move someone's life or business forward. Do you get that? If that's not the reason you're selling, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. Because in you providing the thing that you do, you're helping to gain someone else's business. Remember, profit means gain, or someone else's life, or you're profiting someone else's career. They're gaining from you. You get that? So if you shift and start to look at sales as a transfer of enthusiasm. Listen, when I studied this a couple years ago, it said this in my study that I was looking at. It said, when the early Christians saw someone convert to Christianity, they had no words to describe the overwhelming joy that followed. So they created a word out of 2 words, in and theos, which mean God within. In other words, it means to be so inspired. It's like God himself dwells within. That's good, right? So when you think about the fact that if God put you here on assignment, when you do that thing that you do and people are doing better, you're transferring your enthusiasm onto them. You're transferring your intellectual property and the way you can move them forward into their life or business, depending on what you do. Y'all get that? So it's a transfer of enthusiasm. Listen, I get so excited when I see people really get clear on their purpose and they start to see how all the ways they can make money from it. I get super excited about that. Do you know why? Because I know all the people that you will bless because you're clear. So that's transferring my enthusiasm, right? And some of my clients, y'all are here, you know, I get excited when you get excited, right? So number 1, think of sales as a transfer of enthusiasm. That's number 1. Okay. The second way I want to encourage you to shift the way you look at sales is conversion. Okay. Hear me out now, right? Because we talk about converting, right? Especially my clients. Y'all know I talk about converting. Listen, convert means to change. The Bible says in Proverbs 11:30, he who wins souls is wise. So I want you to really get this. When Jesus started looking for disciples, he was looking for fishers of men or women because he wanted to change, to shift people's lives. Is that not what you're doing when you're selling? When someone says yes and they work with you, you're converting, you're changing where they are to where they could be by the predictable result you offer for them. So if I use look, y'all that have been around me, you know, I've been using health for an example because, baby, I'm in a whole nother health issue. Welcome to menopause, right? And so my trainer, who was phenomenal, I just finished talking to her a few minutes ago, mind you, because things are happening in my body different than they've ever happened before, because menopause is a whole different monster. All of you that are under 50, don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say your big sister somewhere didn't warn you, because I'm telling you now. And so the way that I'm exercising, the way that I'm eating, I have to shift how I eat. And let me tell you, Sister Girl likes to eat. So don't tell me what I can't eat. Tell me what I might need to cut back on. Tell me what I need to watch. But I have to think differently. But here's the thing. She's changing me for the better. And if I didn't pay her, that conversion wouldn't happen. Do y'all get that? And so when you start to really look at how you can shift and be clear on the result of the people that work with you, because people aren't signing up for motivation or inspiration, y'all. Those of you that are not clear in the predictable result that people get to, let me explain to you. A confused mind does not buy, which also means a confused mind doesn't change. It means a confused mind doesn't get enthusiasm. And so you're only enthusiastic when things are shifting in your life or business or career, right? So when people are confused, they won't see you as their answer. So therefore, they won't hire you, which means their life will never be transformed by what you do. And by you, if I say life, y'all, and you don't work with people's lives, roll with me and insert what you do there. So super important. This is really the foundation to why I teach what I teach, because you've got to understand that there are people that need you. When you get held up on a word, when you get held up on a process, or when your process isn't clear, no one will be converted and changed by you. No one will gain by the fruit that you bear with them. So those of you that are saying, Nicole, this is great, but I need support and I need help, I want to invite you. Many of you know you've been with me week after week, in actually a week from this Friday, my 2-day intensive, Be the Answer. So if you haven't gotten a seat, if you're ready to really get clear on all that I've been sharing in the last 4 parts of this series, know that these are all the 4 parts I'm walking you through at Be the Answer. So I'm going to quickly show you a quick commercial, and then I'll come back for step 3, which probably is my favorite. So hang tight. I'll be right back. Join me at my virtual 2-day intensive called Be the Answer. This is where I get to coach you and teach you in 2 days all you need to, number 1, get clear on your purpose, your niche, or even how your brilliance can and should produce your paycheck. Number 2, how to stand out in the sea of people who do what you do and build a tribe that will buy. And number 3, to create multiple streams of revenue in your business, but ultimately to position you to live as the highest and best version of who God created you to be. See, Be the Answer is an event where I give you the tools you need to create and sustain a business that you're passionate about, all while showing you how to generate multiple streams of income. Now, there are many conferences that give you a feel-good message and send you away feeling motivated and inspired. But once you get home, you realize that motivation and inspiration just isn't enough to catapult your business or your purpose forward. So, no, there will not be a bunch of speakers. It's me and you and a select few for the 2 days where I give you the step-by-step action you need to move your business into real profit right now. I can't wait to coach you and teach you in those 2 days at Be the Answer. Well, see, my thing just decided to stop on its own. So with that said, BeTheAnswerEvent.com is where you go. If you know, like you know, now's your time. You're ready to be coached by me for 2 days. I look forward to serving you. I look forward to serving you at Be the Answer. So with that said, let's continue in this conversation. So listen, Mark 6, 5 and 6 say this. And because of their unbelief, he couldn't do any miracles among them except to place his hands on a few sick people and heal them. And he was amazed at their unbelief. Do you know why people don't believe you? Listen, if you don't believe in your gift, why should anybody else? If you don't stand confident in who God created you to be, why should anybody else believe in what you could do? This is why the transfer of enthusiasm is so important, and really understanding the change that your gift creates in this world is vital for you to be able to profit, not just for you, but profit the world. Which moves us to number 3. You've got to shift from selling to serving. You know, I was on a Clubhouse, and I think I said this a couple of weeks ago, and this was maybe about a year ago. And a woman said to me, you know, Nicole, I created this program, and because I saw so-and-so do it, and she was successful, I saw such do it, and he was successful, and I saw this other person do it, and they were making all kind of money, so I did it too, and I'm not generating any money. See, she's focused on profit and not focused on serving. So even Jesus, listen, do you guys remember the What Would Jesus Do campaign that came out years ago? Now, if Jesus is our example, let me say this. Jesus said this in Luke 4:18 when he said why God brought him here. He said, he has sent me, talking about God. This is Jesus talking about God. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. All of us do those things. Let me read them one more time. To heal the brokenhearted. How many of y'all are personal development coaches? You healing the brokenhearted. To proclaim liberty to the captives. Listen, some of y'all are captives in corporate. And those of you that coach any kind of person around anything in corporate, hello, you're proclaiming liberty for that person, because the sky is a limit for some people. But listen, when God created you, he didn't create you with a limit. Recovery of sight to the blind. Many of you can't see what's possible for you. So I would say a lot of what I do is recover sight to the blind. To set at liberty those who are oppressed. Now, here's the thing that's so interesting. The modern day church, I believe, is oppressed around this whole financial conversation. And so we somehow have this whole thought that we're supposed to struggle to serve via our gifts. Now, I'm clear my business is my ministry. And many of you have heard my story. I'm going to repeat it here because I need you to get this. As I talk to you about this third piece, you need to shift from selling to serving, about to say it backwards. So I have this year, 28 years I've been in this business. So 17 years in, by then I had 2 divisions in my company. I had a I had a nonprofit, let me say that one first, working with African-American teenage girls. It was faith-based. It was a program for girls in churches. I had 10 chapters in 10 churches in 10 cities throughout this country. And we were growing by leaps and bounds. In my for-profit, I had an 100% full coaching client roster. I couldn't coach any more highly skilled professionals to start or grow their businesses. And so I wrote my first book in 2010, hoping that that book would still bless those I couldn't take on as clients, but at the same time, it could be a fundraiser for my nonprofit. Well, listen, when that book came out is when my speaking career started, because I started getting invitations to speak all over the country. And so I was doing a thing I knew I was born to do, and I loved every minute of it. But I was only making $13,000 a year. I was broke, I was frustrated, I was ready to quit. And so I had an epiphany in that moment. And I'm making a long story short, y'all. And I said, Lord, if this is you, you better show me something. To make a long story short, he led me on a path to an event, just like my event, Be the Answer. The only difference between my event and Be the Answer is that at the event I went to, there were so many speakers. So I didn't know how to put stuff together, which is one of the reasons why I do Be the Answer, because I didn't want you to be an overwhelm and not have the support to figure out how to pull the pieces together. But what happened in that room is I saw that I didn't know what I didn't know. I hired my first coach after that room. She cost me $30,000. I couldn't afford it, but I couldn't afford not to do it. So after my very first coaching lesson, and this is a story that some of you haven't heard, I remember her walking me through how to really profit from my gift. And in that moment, my blueprint was born, the blueprint that I now teach all my clients. Because when she said it, it was like the heavens opened up and I could see myself for the first time. I saw my gifts in ways I had never seen them before. And God started pouring stuff in, y'all. I was like, oh my God, right? And so I remember, I think it might have been my second coaching call, hung up, and I got a call from a church. Now, y'all know I was already having issues about selling. which is why I call it an invitation, because the sales conversation still doesn't feel good to me, if I'm honest, because I don't sell, I serve, right? If it's not a good fit for you, I don't want you. I'm not saying that in a conceited way. Listen, because I'm not selling, I serve. And if it's not for me to serve, I'm not going to be greedy. There's somebody else out there that can serve you if it's not me. Okay? I appreciate you, Renata. So with that said, y'all, I literally hung the phone from my coach and my phone rings. I'm like, answer the phone. It's a first lady from a church. I'm like, really, Lord? I just got this lesson. You about to test me already? And she said she wanted me to come speak at their church. Now, before then, can I tell you, I used to go everywhere for free. I fly myself there. I put myself up. I speak. So I was broken because I was spending my own money. So she said, how much do you cost? I told her my speaking fee. She said, okay, do you want to stay at the Hilton or do you want to stay at the Marriott? I was like, what? Do you have a preferred airline? What? So when I hung up the phone, I was like, oh my God, I've been in my way. And here's what God said back to me. I need somebody to write this. Service and struggle should never coexist. Why would I give you a gift and want you to struggle to do it? Again, I say Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. See, I was all in harm. I wasn't in trust. I hadn't done the work to get clear. And I was frustrated, broke, and broken because I was struggling to do this thing I'm called to do. No more. All the things I'm teaching you are all the things that opened up for me in that moment that really helped me get clear, that really helped me see how I am the answer and how I'm meant to get paid for it. And so I really want you to get that too, right? So as we begin to wrap up, and really I want you to think about sales as a relationship. And think about what relationship means. Relationship is a relay. So when I'm inviting you to work with me, this becomes a relationship. One where we have a predictable result. One where we have agreed upon that end from the beginning. One where I get to serve you from my brilliance. Because a sale is out of a greedy place. Serve is out of a giving place, out of ministry place, out of a I'm called to do this thing place. But when I serve, I should be paid for it. Okay? So it's not about gimmicks. It's not about, the latest snazzy way to say things. This is why, many of you that work with me, that I have the pleasure to coach, this is why I have you get clear on your niche and be able to articulate the predictable result. Because it doesn't matter if I said, listen, when I was struggling in my business, can I tell y'all what I used to say is that I help women maximize their potential. Yeah, that says nothing to no one. And not only that, I was limiting myself because I never said clearly what I did. Now I'm clear that I help highly skilled professionals create multiple streams of income from their God-given purpose. See, I serve men and women, but it's the people that already are at a job. It might have been a job you dreamed of, you wanted your whole life, and all of a sudden it's no longer big enough for your gift. Or maybe you've already started your business and you're not seeing your revenue come in. And all it is this correlation between the 4-part series I've been walking you through, the Brilliance framework, and where you're stuck in between one of those 4. And many people want to get to profit. But if you don't get the first 3, you'll be held up and stuck in selling and not serving. What good is it for a man to profit the world and lose his whole soul, his own soul? Bible verse that just popped in my head. So that's our conversation. So your purpose is to profit because it's the gain that you give back to the kingdom. See, God put us all here with DNA, distinct natural ability, certain gifts and talents so that you can be the answer to a group of people that need you. See, when you do that, that's bringing kingdom down to earth, y'all. We all have a piece of that. We all are part of that. We all have our own parts to play. My question is, where are you stuck in those 4 areas? And if you need support, if you're not already my client, because I see a couple of clients here, then get in the room to be the answer, right? Don't wait. Listen, God gave you a gift on purpose for a purpose. And every day you wait, you're holding up somebody's answered prayer. And every day you're not clear, you're not gaining the world with your genius. So that's the first part of our conversation. Again, those of you that are here with me week after week, we do part 1 on Monday night and then we dig deeper on Tuesday morning. So I'm going to invite you to join us tomorrow morning for our Faith, Purpose, Profit breakfast. where we dig even deeper into this topic, right? So fppbreakfast.com is 8:30 a.m. And let me tell you why I love Clubhouse and why I do both. Because I start the conversation, I want you to marinate tonight. Many of you guys, I love those of you that come the next morning and you've thought about it and there's some Bible verses God will drop in your spirit. I'm clear that God talks to all of us if we sit in our being long enough to hear what he has to say. And then those of you that come and you share or you ask questions so I can coach you, because I get to hear you on Clubhouse. Here, I don't get to hear you. Clubhouse, I do. So I'm going to encourage you to come so we can continue our conversation tomorrow morning on Clubhouse, fppbreakfast.com. That's at 8:30 a.m. EST, 30 minutes, just like this is 30 minutes. And the reason I commit to 30 minutes is this. I don't take the time I get to spend with you for granted. But my goal is to give you some great strategy, insight, tools so you can stop waiting for the right time. It won't ever be a right time. So you can stop living in good enough, because listen, deliberate mediocrity is a sin. That's a quote. I didn't say that. So that you can go after the meaning and fulfillment you greatly desire. And all of that is connecting faith with purpose, with profit. So with that said, that's our conversation for tonight. I look forward to seeing many of you tomorrow morning on our Clubhouse, all right? Again, just to go back through our three and really shifting how you look at profit. 1, sales is a transfer of enthusiasm. 2, sales is conversion, is to change, to convert. And 3 is shifting from selling to serving. Which of those 3 will bless you as you begin to do all that it takes to live into your assignment? All right. So with that, thank you for joining me. Again, if I've given you any value, share. There's a share button below with your tribe, with your people, your family, your friends, and leave a comment. Let me know the one thing you got valuable out of our conversation for tonight.